Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and I believe this week is episode 101 because we missed last week, unfortunately, due to my unfortunate COVID diagnosis. So yeah, real quick, I just want to talk about that.
How'd it go?
It went okay. I'm still here, obviously. I got it. Let's see, Daniel. Okay, so Daniel was originally sick at first, and why can't I hear myself? Oh, it's because I'm watching the stream. That's why. Hold on. There we go. So Danielle was sick first, like 2 weeks ago, and she kept testing negative. So we kept testing, blah blah, kept testing. She was negative like every single time.
Yeah.
Then I started to get sick, and I was like, I don't know, I might have COVID. And she was like, I don't know, like I didn't have it, so like I really find it really hard to believe that you got it. I was like, I don't know, this just feels like how it felt when I got vaccinated, like the day after. I was like,
something worse. Yeah,
it was just like, it just felt like blech. And then sure enough, I tested on Sunday night and I was positive. I was like, of course it was just like it was like you beat it for 3 years, and it's like, nope, I gotcha, like you're not getting away. Yeah, so I was pretty much down for the count. I'd say only Saturday or Sunday to Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
About Thursday, I really started to pick back up. I took Monday through Thursday off of work, just 'cause I was like, I can't do it. I don't like, even working from home. I was like, I don't want to, And then it was
overexert.
Danielle had to leave the whole week to go to work, to actually go in the office. So I had to watch the dog all those days too.
Oh, damn.
Which Nova was awesome, obviously, all those days. But I was like, I can't be working and watching the, like, it's just, I don't want to do any of that. So yeah, I just chilled out for those 4 days. Didn't get to watch much, unfortunately. I just wasn't feeling like watching any movies or anything. I caught up on My Hero. I was a little behind on that. I started watching Naruto, which I had never watched, which I like so far. It's just I texted Paige and I was like, are you like, I know you really like Naruto. I was like, do you like the dub or the sub? Because I just can't find which one I like. None of the voices for either was really grabbing me. And she said she kind of has a soft spot for the dub because that's what she grew up watching. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. But I don't know. I still haven't figured it out yet. Like, I've watched like the past 2 episodes in dub, but I'm like, I don't know if I really like this. Like, I might go back to the other one. So I did that. How loud is the music? Everybody's saying this music is very loud.
That's what I just saw. I just turned it like way down to like negative 50 decibels. Sounds okay. Let me know. Just let us know. I'll watch it. Just tell me up or down. I'm just trying a new thing. But if it's too loud, we can't figure it out, then I'll just cut it. But yeah, what did you just ask me before you said the thing about the music?
They just said it was really loud.
Oh, okay. Right.
I haven't watched 3. I will say real quick, I have watched 3 things that since like 2 weeks ago that we didn't really talk about, or that I didn't get a chance to talk about. So I saw The Menu finally. Really good movie. Really enjoyed it. Maybe the most hated characters I've ever seen. Nicholas Hoult in particular, could not stand that guy. Just from his first line was, I was like, can this guy just shut up? Like, he's the most uppity freaking, oh god, like I just couldn't with that guy, with that character. Oh, it looks like your camera fell.
What the heck?
Anna Taylor-Joy was obviously awesome.
Oh, she's so good in that.
Was awesome. I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
It's a great cool ensemble too.
Yeah. And yeah, that I'll say is the cheeseburger looks really good at the end there.
I know. I wanted to like get a cheeseburger like that right after seeing it, but I'm like, I don't even know anywhere around here that I could. Five Guys, like that's probably like the closest thing. I need to go wherever he was working.
Right.
Well, no spoilers on that, but I'd like that cheeseburger in real life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What were the other?
Then we watched She Said, which personally me and Danielle really enjoyed.
Okay.
Obviously, it's like it's a tough subject.
I want to break this out real quick.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on She Said because I just want to get your thoughts on it because I feel like we watched two very different movies, which is fine. I mean, we have different opinions and stuff, but how'd you feel about it?
I really liked it. Again, really difficult subject. And I'd say I really enjoy those kind of investigative news type movies like Spotlight or I've never seen All the President's Men, but like obviously something that, or even Zodiac, something like that. So for me personally, I really liked it. I thought Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan were awesome. I feel like Carey Mulligan like takes these breaks where she like is not in anything and then she just like pops up in something random. Like the last thing I think I watched her in was Promising Young Woman, and that was
that was 2 years ago, right? Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe she's done something since then, but I thought it was directed really well. I liked the use of the I believe that audio was real at that kind of that tape recording.
Yeah,
I thought that was.
I guess it's not a spoiler because it really happened.
Right.
I believe the only thing that's not real,
is his
or I should say, I should say it's all definitely the actual words, but I think some of them were subbed in with like an actor if they couldn't get the rights. But I believe the only one that was not based on actual audio recordings was the private calls like between the reporters and Gwyneth Paltrow. I think I read that like Gwyneth Paltrow was the only one that like they didn't get the exact like transcripts or whatever for it. Which I mean, if you've seen the movie, there's a lot of real people, real characters playing themselves and stuff. So, yeah.
But I thought that audio really drove home like the whole like it just really hit me in the middle. And the guy who voice acted him in those calls, I thought did an awesome job.
Yeah. See, okay, one of my issues with it, and I mean that's totally fair. I know I'm in the minority on this movie for sure, of not liking it, but for me, one of the biggest sticking points, and like I said, I mean, spoilers, I guess, for She Said, it's a real events that really happened, but granted, if you don't want to hear anything, just mute for like 30 seconds. The end of the movie, when Harvey Weinstein like actually comes to their offices, you know, I feel like in a movie like that, I should be one of two things of like, this guy sucks, how pathetic does he look, or oh my god, I'm like scared of this guy. I was like a third where I was just disgusted. I was just like, ugh, why are we doing this? And I didn't feel, and I don't mean that in the way of like, oh, this movie has done such a great job of getting me to be disgusted at this guy. I think, you know, hopefully a majority of our population is already disgusted with Harvey Weinstein. So I was hoping to have like a different sense of feeling at the end of that movie. So I think it just didn't. I think the emotions just didn't hit me on that movie. But what did Danielle think of it?
She really liked it. She gave it 4.5 stars.
Nice.
I'd say she probably echoes everything I said. But and again, real quick on the whole Harvey Weinstein, whoever portrayed that guy.
Yeah, the voice was great.
Looked really good too.
Yeah, the body double and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of kind of. I think some of the women in it explained like just how like massive of a person he is. Yeah, and I thought they portrayed that very well.
Intimidating.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah, perfect. What else have you been watching?
Lastly,
let's hear it.
I watched Amsterdam. So
oh boy, Ed Begley Jr. Right?
Everybody was shit. Yeah, everybody was shitting on it, and
you loved it.
Full disclosure, I watched this like on Sunday, so that was when I first tested positive, so I was feeling like really bad. So, you know, it could have been the lens, like the way I was feeling when I was watching it, which made me just dislike it that much. I just thought it was just like, I just didn't really understand like why I should care about any of what is going on in this. I thought everybody was kind of, I didn't think anybody was like awful in it. Maybe Christian Bale was kind of, he's just, I don't know. It was just kind of like an a little over the
It was definitely one of his more, like zany performances rather than great one, but.
Right. I thought Robbie Mal, I don't.
Oof. That was a big
like,
miss for me.
Yeah, I just don't understand his like. I don't know. It's just like every time, like I thought that, I think in my head it's like him in Bohemian Rhapsody, the way he like acts and does all that stuff, talks. That's him playing Freddie Mercury, but that's really how he like acts.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm kind of
like Ezra Miller and We Need to Talk About Kevin. Are you acting? Are you? Mm-hmm. Like I felt the same way.
Right. And then we have like this like secret society of these people, and it's like, oh, they killed Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift's dad, and I was like, okay, who can, like, why do I care? By the way, take out that whole, why is Taylor, what is that death? Please take that out, please.
Yeah, that was
don't
like,
put that out if it looks that bad. Like,
and also like, I don't know if you've mentioned him yet, but like Timothy Olyphant, who normally works for everything, what the fuck is he doing in this movie? Like, especially that scene. I guess. Yeah. If anyone cares about Amsterdam, mute us, I guess. Oh crap! I was gonna put in I made a spoiler alert graphic. I'll have it next week. But spoiler alert, like especially in that scene of just how hammy it is. Like and then he goes, it was them. It was those two.
Yeah.
What are you doing in this movie? Like, it really just felt like one of those, like, Babylon, which I have not watched the full movie, but, like Babylon, or what we just talked about, The Menu, or even Glass Onion, these, like, great, strong ensembles that really all have, like, purpose of why all these people are together, or what's going on with these, big star-packed, movies. Amsterdam to me just felt like an SNL episode. Like it was just like cameo after like, why is this person here? Why is this person here?
Why is Mike Myers in this movie?
Exactly. And
it's like one of those like, oh, there he is.
And you remember like, when we were kind of hyped for this movie still like a few months ago, I was like, ooh, maybe this will be like another Inglourious Bastard role for him where he comes in, does this great, surprisingly dramatic performance and then just bounces. But it was just stupid shit like everybody else. Like it was just very disappointing. Very disappointing overall.
Or Robert De Niro.
I know him too. Like, Bobby, what are you doing? You gotta go make Irishman 2. Well, you still can. What was I
Taylor
watching?
Swift on the poster.
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't even know. I don't know what is going on with that movie. And also, I've seen Taylor Swift act in other things and, just be a charismatic person. I also thought she just wasn't very good in the movie. And that's saying something because she's only in it for like 3 minutes. I know I just said we'll move on from this, but just another one. The more I think about it, the more cast members stick out to me, like Zoe Saldana and like Chris Rock. Like what were they doing in this? Like, I don't know. It was just very, very odd. It was a very odd duck of a movie in my opinion. But, have you been watching anything else, or was that about it? Besides what we'll talk about a little bit later on.
I believe that's. Let me just double check real quick. Haven't gotten back to 1923 yet, but no, that's it.
Do you keep up to date with TV Time?
I do.
Okay. My friend Dorian at work, he swears by this app called Serialized, which is basically the same thing as TV Time, but after using them both, Serialized seems a little more like polished, which with a little more like letterboxy features. But I just cannot keep up with TV tracking because I just throw it on too much in the background, so I would never know what to actually count or not. But that was one of my just personal in my own head New Year's resolutions. Was I was like, I'm gonna track TV this year. Nope, 2 weeks in, and I have watched as many movies as I was watching in December. I'm now fully, the pendulum has fully swung back over to TV shows for me. But nice little segue there. Doesn't mean I have not been watching any films. I have definitely been. First one, I'm just going to mention real quick because I actually already did a review and put it up on the channel. I did finally go and see The Whale earlier today. Very, very, very hard movie. Just if you want more perspective on it or more whatever, you can go check out that video. But let's just say Brendan Fraser, Sadie Sink, please Oscar nomination. In my opinion, I would say Oscar win. I don't think there was a better lead acting performance, and I don't think there was a better supporting actress performance in this entire year. Absolutely insane. And then not really going to get talked as much for awards, but shout out to Ty Simpkins, Iron Man Jr., Iron Man 3 kid, for those who don't, keep up with who he is. He was fantastic. And then really MVP of this year, of this award season, is Hong Chow, who she was the maitre d' in The Menu, and then she plays actually a huge role, honestly probably the second most screen time to Brendan Fraser, as his nurse. I'll leave it at that, but nurse/friend in this movie. She had me, almost in tears by the end of the movie, just her alone, let alone everything else that was going on. So really, really great movie. If you have it near you or anything, go check it out. But definitely try to check it out before Oscar season hits. Then I have also been watching, I rewatched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That movie's still fantastic. I did go through and I finished my Harry Potter rewatch. I started rewatching it in December and then kind of just fell off of it, but I was just like, I really wanted to watch it through, and I did, so I watched that like in very rapid succession. I don't think last time we were live I had watched this yet, but I watched Shattered Glass, which is the early 2000s movie, 2003 movie with Hayden Christensen and Peter Sarsgaard. It's the one that everybody goes, no, watch Shattered Glass. He can act. Like, believe me. And he can. He is. Hayden Christensen is really fantastic in this movie. I really, really think it's a movie that if you like Hayden Christensen, you should seek out. It's for free. It's on Tubi. And it's like 86 minutes or something like that. It's just one of those really quick ones. And it's a weird early 2000s one where there is a lot of like bit players and supporting characters that go on to be huge. Like Rosario Dawson and Steve Zahn have two really big roles in this. Hank Azaria in a more dramatic role from Hank Azaria, which he's always good at. I'm trying to think of a couple other people, and then just a lot of other really, really great character actors and actresses from a lot of stuff in the early 2000s that are still working up till today. Like, it's a great cast overall, but the movie itself, after all that praise of the performances and everything, I do think it's maybe one of the weakest, and I'm not a professional cinema editor, but the editing for me, I was like, if the first thing I said when I finished the movie was, I said to my friend, if this had just one more pass at the dialogue between the characters and just like a little bit of a tighter edit, even though it's already like 90 minutes, I think the movie like would have just like, whatever the equivalent, just flown off the shelves. Because for me, I think I ended up giving it like a 3.5 out of 5 because really the performances are the movie, particularly Peter Sarsgaard and Hayden Christensen. But the movie overall, I think it's trying to be more clever than it is capable of being. But I still really liked it. I still really liked it. But I definitely think, there was some growing pains within that. I also watched The Girl from Plainville, which was the show that came out last year with Elle Fanning. Very tough subject of a show that's on Hulu, I believe FX Hulu right now. And it basically, the blurb is, Michelle Carter, who was convicted in 2017 of involuntary manslaughter for encouraging the suicide of her then boyfriend via texts and phone calls. So it's kind of this true crime, because it did actually happen. This kind of true crime mixed with some, like, you know, dramatization to make it a full-fledged storyline, but it was very, very good, and Elle Fanning was fantastic in it. I'm not going to include a full review type thing. I did go back, I watched 2 more episodes of The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried, where she's playing the woman behind the whole, like, Theranos scandal and all that stuff that came out earlier. I don't know why, it's just, I keep forgetting about the show and then coming back to it. So I'm going to try and finish it soon, but I did watch 2 more of that. She is so good in that show. And then let's see what else. All right, like I said, I won't go into all the Harry Potter. Rewatch There Will Be Blood, fantastic. Because rewatch Dave, 1993's Dave with Sigourney Weaver and Kevin Kline. Love that movie, absolutely fantastic movie. Couldn't sleep a couple nights ago, so I rewatched some Visions. With let's see, I rewatched The Elder, The Village Bride, and then Tatooine Rhapsody. Really like those. We'll talk about Visions a little bit later on in the show. Just make sure I'm not skipping. Oh yeah, rewatched Interstellar and rewatched Room, like back to back as a double feature. Very interesting double feature about, you know, life and cinema and what it can do. Rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once the night of the Golden Globes. That was a very good experience, because then I basically watched it sweep the Golden Globes right after the movie ended. And then, like I said, I watched Walter Mitty. The main thing that I want to talk about that I have been watching is I have been watching, started finally after almost a year of peer pressure by almost everybody on my management team at work. I started watching Hannibal, which I don't know if you've ever seen.
Okay.
This is the Mads Mikkelsen, Lawrence Fishburne, Hugh Dancy show. It is fantastic. It is as good as everybody has been telling me that it is. Mads Mikkelsen is like bone chilling in that show. The main thing that I want to talk about with it, though, is the fact that this was a primetime NBC Channel 2 network television show. It wasn't cable, it wasn't TNT or AMC or FX or a streaming show or anything. This is like, basically, aside from swearing, as R-rated as a network show can get. And it's kind of insane every time I watch a new episode, how this aired on NBC. Like, it's just really one of those shows that just is so mature for the audience that it was going out to. Probably part of the reason that, you know, it didn't go on to have more than 3 seasons, but I'm on season 3 right now. I'm about 2 episodes into season 3, and it's still fantastic. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to that, because I think I'm going to be doing a full Hannibal review once I actually finish the series. So that might be coming out separately on the channel, but I have been watching that. It has been fantastic. So before I finish it, jump down in the comments, please. Let me know if you guys have watched it, if you're finding this video or anything. Let me know what your thoughts are on Hannibal, because I am probably less than a week. I'll probably be finished with that one. Let's see here. So that's pretty much been all we've been watching. We're going to try and keep it short, which I know it's famous last PFN words. But let's move on here to, what do you want to do first? I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to review D. Bradley Baker first or Pedro Pascal first? I'll leave it to you.
Let's do Bad Batch first, because I feel like that'll be a little bit
quicker.
Just be a little bit quicker. Yeah.
All right, yeah, so I was meaning to do a quick review for Bad Batch after the first 2 episodes came out, but I had a pretty busy work week. Also, the first 2 episodes premiered literally on like the 3rd of the year, so I didn't have a lot of time then. So now we are 3 episodes down in season 2 of the Bad Batch. I'll just jump in with my quick thoughts here on this. Quick thoughts I'll say on episode 1 and 2, because I don't know about you, but I definitely have the most to talk about with episode 3. Episode 1 and 2 I thought was like a wham bang adventure. Welcome back. The Bad Batch is back, like just thrown into this adventure. Only, in my opinion, in light of the third episode, because the first two episodes, the first one is really more of like the adventure, and you see Sid, then you meet Wanda Sykes' new character. You see the droid from last season. I think it's AZ. He's alive and well, and he's serving drinks at Sid's bar. That's all fantastic. And then the second episode, you do get into those classic darker Bad Batch kind of overtones with all of this stuff about basically war profiteering on Sereno, and basically the Empire is trying to nab up all of Dooku's fortune. And so the Bad Batch basically hear about this job, and they're trying to scoop up some for themselves, obviously, right, to help others and, do what the Bad Batch does, which is try to improve anything in the galaxy for anyone. I love those two episodes. I really like the whole aspect. I like that the Bad Batch whereas, Clone Wars into Rebels was more of like a restart where they were like, all right, we're going to make this for the young kids now. This, I feel like they went, okay, we're going to make this for all the people that really wanted Clone Wars Season 7. You know what I mean? Like, the Bad Batch didn't go like, all right, we're resetting this, and this show is now for the new 10-year-olds. They were like, this show is for the 16-year-olds that were 10 when Rebels came out. Stuff like that. And I really, really like that because it allows it to be a fun, family-friendlier show than like something like Andor or even Mando. But still get into those darker themes. So what did you overall think of, let's just say, episode 1 and 2? We'll get that out of the way quick and then talk about 3.
Sorry, real quick, can you give me a rundown of what happened in episode 1? I'm like blanking.
Episode 1,
I know we started on the beach and all that stuff, but
I am blanking too because it's been like almost 2 weeks. I genuinely think that all of episode 1 was we pick up, we're just right in the middle of a job.
Right.
We go back to Ord Mantell. Things are a little bit worse there. And then Sid sends them on the job to Sereno. And then I think episode 1 just ends with them getting trapped in the cargo container and then falling. Oh, okay. I think that because it was like a 2-parter, so they're all blending together for me. But I think that was really that. And then episode 2 led off with more of Hunter and Wrecker, which I don't know about you, but as soon as they were in that throne room, I was like, if somebody doesn't go down that trap door like Dooku did, I don't know what we're doing with this show. And then luckily they did. But that's pretty much the gist of 1 and 2.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those. Just coming back, it feels like it's been a really long time.
I know.
I loved that just coming back to, like you said, that throne room that we've seen so many times in Clone Wars, and obviously using the trapdoor. That's a great callback. I'm struggling to. Again, like you said, it's been 2 weeks, but again, it's also, when did season 1 come out? A year ago? Maybe a year and a half?
Year and a half, yeah.
So when I was watching it, I know I was struggling to remember. I was like, okay, Omega, like, what is her deal again? Like, why are we...
Yeah, I had a second of that too. I was like, what's her ability? And then I was like, oh yeah, her ability is that she's just normal. Like, her ability is that she doesn't age.
Yeah, and even episode, like, we'll talk about episode 3 in a second, but when... what's his name showed up, I was like, oh my god, I forgot he was like even a character. Like I don't remember him at all.
Do you know what's crazy? Well, let's
episode 1 and 2,
note
good
that.
Episodes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
That's what I got.
You know what's crazy? Oh, hang on. Molly in the chat said, what is your coffee order? I guess I'll touch on that for half a second. I have decided that anytime I need to record a video, because I have the Panera Unlimited Sips, like club or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I've decided...
You fall asleep a lot.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, just let me divide up my mind to this quick sidebar. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the week that we had off, the TJ unfortunately had COVID, I did take the opportunity. I redid literally everything, not where my actual desk is. This is still the same wall that I had before, but I pivoted everything to the corner, and I added my shelf there so I can have a little bit better of a background. And now I have 2 ring lights. So if I look a little bit better or a little bit less with a giant, circle of white on my forehead, that would be why. But on that note, I've been trying to, be better about getting recordings done and everything. So I normally do not drink coffee ever, but I've just decided in 2023 this is basically the main resolution I've been sticking with, is that I drink coffee now, for better or worse, which is something I never thought would happen. I've had a couple of those in my life. Like, I feel like when I was 15, I was like, I will never eat Mexican food. That's too spicy, and I don't like tomatoes. And then you realize, well, you can take it the way that you can palate it. Same thing with the coffee. So I've been taking large hazelnut coffee, 3 cream, 3 sugar. That is the answer to that question.
Triple.
Yeah. Listen, man, I gotta get through it somehow. I wanna wean it down sugar first, but I gotta get more used to the coffee flavor. Because the hazelnut is not that strong, I'll tell you. Cody, interesting note about Cody, about you saying, oh my god, this guy, the last time canonically we saw him was 18 years ago in Revenge of the Sith. That's the last time we saw Cody in timeline order. So, I mean, the fact that you were, I'm
not even talking about Cody.
Oh, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about, oh my god.
Crosshair?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Well, that's fair enough, I guess. Yeah.
I was like, what episode was it last that we saw? Not the last one, was it?
Well, just the finale. The finale of the last season.
Yeah.
Which, like we said, that was, I think the finale was August 2021. Was the finale. So August 2021. Yeah, almost. It's been almost, a year and 6 months since the finale of the last season. But yeah, Crosshair too. I mean, also, he's only had the 1 season of shows. But yeah, episode 3 for me, just quickly, I think for me it is easily, just plain and simple, one of the best, I think, episodes of Star Wars we've ever gotten. I thought that it had, maybe 10% of that, like, oh, this can be for kids too, of like, an adventure and, some funny lines from some of the battle droids that we saw. But really, when it comes down to it, the theme of this episode is, peace was never an option, which, you see the horrific result of that at the end, which I'll save. I'll let you get into that. But, speaking of Cody, I think as great as this episode was, as revisiting Crosshair and kind of catching back up with what he's been doing, I think it was equally great to see the kind of differences between him and Cody. And the episode title too, The Solitary Clone, I think it could refer to both of them. It could refer to Crosshair of he's alone, he's away from his brothers, he's fighting for this cause that, he wants to believe in, he believes that he believes in, but us as an audience, we know, he let his brothers go at the end of last season.
Right.
Like, we know that there is something in him, even if he wants to deny it himself. And then I think the Solitary Clone can also apply to Cody, with which, he feels like am I the only one left who remembers what we were fighting for? Which is a huge departure from Cody and Legends, which, Cody and Legends became, full-blooded, Empire all the way, like, rah-rah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so some of the reviews I've been watching, I agree with them that they're thinking, if Crosshair really never does come back to, the side of good, maybe he's just going to take that Cody role, where he's just going to be, a lifer with the Empire. And then also, last person before I throw it over to you that I want to shout out, besides like the governor of this episode, who I thought was fantastic too, but recurring character, I think this episode for me took Moff Rampart. I think it took him from just mustache twirling Imperial villain to this guy is just sadistic. Like, he just doesn't give a shit about any of these clones.
He's the guy at the end of the second episode, right?
Yeah, that kills Commander Wilco. Which, again, like we said, even though we said, 1 and 2 were more of the, upbeat kind of adventure of the week thing, it literally ends with Rampart saying, like him going, "Sir, I won't falsify a report." And he goes, "I know." Yeah. And shoots him in the back of the head. Like, oh my God. But I really like that, because I feel like season 1, I feel like both of us in some of the reviews I remember, like, we were like, okay, I like this Rampart guy, but like, let's bring Tarkin back. Like, why isn't he in more episodes? I think these first 3 episodes are really setting up, like, okay, Rampart is going to be the Bad Batch's, main Imperial antagonist. And I think he really went up a few notches for me this episode. But what did you think of episode 3, The Solitary Clone?
I thought it was good. I think for me, I thought the strongest part of the episode was the last 10 minutes.
100%.
Just that whole thing of like. By the way, was I supposed to know who Tawny Ames was?
No, it was just
because I was like, I don't know who I was.
Yeah, just by context, it was just like, okay, she was one of the ones working with Mina Bonteri and Padme, like that, but we've never met her before.
That whole thing about her talking about, we don't really have a choice. Like you're coming here to take my land, even though, we were separate before. But now
we were never even part of the Republic.
Right, we were not a part of the Republic, but now that this whole, when she says, "Oh, Dooku," I was like, well, wasn't Dooku like still kind of I don't think Dooku was going on with the Emperor not knowing what the whole kind of grand scheme was.
but they don't know that. Like that's the great part is that to them, they're. Like her, Tawny Ames, she's thinking, the Jedi really did overthrow the Republic and they killed Dooku.
True, yeah.
That sucks, but, he had the right idea. Like, to them, that's still a secret, which that would be an interesting canon thing one day is, does the galaxy ever find out that Dooku was a Sith Lord?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think, I just was assuming that everybody probably found out, but you're also a good point. Like, maybe they just never knew that.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome, that whole messaging. And then the end where
and that Kevin Kiner score.
Why can't I remember his name?
Crosshair, yeah.
When he walks into the Admiral Rampart and he's like, "Oh, you're going to blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh, you're not sending me to Cody." He's like, "Oh, Cody went AWOL."
Yeah.
It's like,
not before saying Cody. Like, who's Cody?
Right. Who's
use
that guy?
Use his number, or I'm not going to answer you. Like, I loved that, and then like, because it just shows. Like we said, Crosshair, there's something in there that he is not gelling with what this is, but he is just going to be... I mean, look at the lunch scene, which I think is one of the more lighthearted moments of this episode, but it shows you the guy, nobody even wants to sit with him. Even his brothers, the regs have all turned on him as well because they see him as this guy, either, I'm sure half of them see him as this, cold-blooded killer, and half of them see him as... That's the guy, he definitely let the Bad Batch escape. Like, he's making enemies everywhere he goes. And I think that really lends itself to the title of Solitary Clone. Yeah. But like you said, go for it.
When they're like, I don't know what they're outside of, that like monument they're looking at. What is that?
Yeah, I thought that was brand new for this episode. I guess in the, in season 6, season 5, in Padawan Lost, when Ahsoka's like on the run for the bombing.
Yeah.
Apparently she runs by it, but what it is it's the oldest monument for the Clone Wars. It was built in honor of all the clones that died in the first Battle of Geonosis. So it was built right after Attack of the Clones. So it was built technically, I think, even before the actual Clone Wars started.
When he's talking about, when Cody's like, what's the difference between like us and droids? And they're talking about like following orders, but he's like, but we have to like live with what we have done. Like droids are just, they're not really sentient.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have to follow all these orders, but we also have to
live with them
and live with the stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. And then obviously is when he goes later and it's, they say he went AWOL. I was like, oh, that tracks.
Yeah.
I was like, you can sense it from the beginning of the episode that he's kind of like obviously questioning everything and probably is going to dip at some point.
Yeah. And then too, like you said, the last 10 minutes really, but as great as Crosshair was in this episode, and I really think he's fantastic in this episode, I feel like the episode was like, all right, we're going to bring you back up to speed with Crosshair, but we have a lot of legwork to do with Cody, because it's been a while since, and clearly this is not going to be Cody's last episode of The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So it's like we had even more work to do with Cody, and almost every interaction that Cody had, whether it was with Crosshair or later on with Governor Ames, especially with Governor Ames when, she's holding the gun to the, rightful governor, which I love. That guy's name is Groton. And Dave Filoni said, there was an interview that was like, gotta be rotten. Was literally just that, was just what, like, just one of those Star Wars things. But Savage Opress, gotta love Star Wars names. But when she said, what does he say? You know, he goes, I didn't come here to debate politics with you, Governor. And she goes, well, maybe if you had, you'd see how, you know, how awful the atrocities you're committing really are. And that makes him think. And then, you know, he says, you know, he takes off his helmet, puts down his weapon, and then believes for that last gasp. Because like you said, you can clearly tell that Cody is not comfortable with the situation as much as he wants to say he is. That last gasp of maybe what the Republic stood for is still there. Of, all right, we can do this peacefully. And then as soon as he puts it down, the guy is like, you know, kill her. And then, for me, the terrible Andor connection of when he goes, put her body in the square. My mind immediately went to Clem Andor with, you know, getting, you know, killed literally for doing nothing by clones and strung up in the square on Ferrix. Like, my mind immediately went back to that. It's just, we are in this early phase of the Empire where they are just going to exert as little control as harshly as they possibly can. And it's just so brutal. And I love that Star Wars can be this. Like, this is to me when it's like really amazing. Like, I love, you know, them running across a beach fighting off like 20 or 30 giant crab monsters. But like, when you can really have these discussions that also help younger viewers, you know, understand things, but even older people like us, like, get these life lessons from this cartoon show, I think has always been the strength of Star Wars animation. But do you have any last things before we move on from Bad Batch, which I think is off to a great start? Where do you think some things are going?
Yeah, I have no freaking idea. But I'm looking forward to after these 3 episodes to the rest of the season more than I could say before it premiered. I will say that.
I agree 100%. I think I saw a TikTok that was like the marketing. It was on Instagram, that meme of the parent holding the baby in the pool and there's like the dead body under the water, and it was like any Star Wars project, and then the dead body in the water was Bad Batch season 2 marketing budget. And I was like, they really just put out the I think it was D23 trailer like 6 months ago, and then one other trailer, and they were like, there you go, first week of the year, check it out. So I agree with you 100%. I think this has done a lot to get me kind of jazzed and back into the Bad Batch feel. But yeah, so let's move on here to another review. Wow, 20 minutes on Bad Batch. I did not think that was gonna happen, but it's off to a great start. Yeah, that's fair. So moving on to the next great thing, a familiar face to Star Wars, but not Star Wars. TJ, I put up a quick review on Sunday after it came out, but let me get your thoughts on the premiere, the feature-length premiere of HBO's The Last of Us. How did you feel?
I was, and I shouldn't say pleasantly surprised, because I definitely wasn't. I thought it was fantastic. I thought they knocked it out of the park. I mean, how can you go wrong with not only the writer / director of the game, Neil Druckmann, but as well as the showrunner of Chernobyl. Yeah. I mean, that's just like, how, you know, same set
decorator for this Andor and Chernobyl, and you can feel it. You can feel that.
It's going to be very hard to fail when you have those two
absolutely
together. But no, like, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I'm operating under the I do not remember much of the first game, if I'm being completely honest. Played through it again years ago, and the second one came out 2020, I think it was. And I think that I want to say that probably had a recap in the beginning, but again, I don't really remember it that well. I thought Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey were just fantastic. Pedro Pascal looked more and more like Joel as the episode went on for me.
Dude, when that time jump happened,
the time jump, I think, is what really got me. When we were kind of current day, I was like, okay, now I see it. Like this really, I think he really looks like him.
100%.
I thought it was shot fantastic. It looked awesome.
Oh, it looked so good.
There were some scenes that I did recognize. I was like, that's straight out of the game. When they're pulling up to that sign where it's like, I think it's like Austin to the left, and I forget what.
Yeah, it is literally the exact. It's the exact same signage. It's insane to me.
I will. Another thing, I really liked, just as far as shooting everything goes, I really liked how they did that whole driving scene.
Yeah.
Again, it felt just like it was a video game, and I thought that was just kind of the perfect way to have done it. But yeah, like some of the characters I just am very fuzzy on. Like when Marlene showed up, I was like, is she the head of the fire? I was like, I really don't remember. And then obviously she is.
And she's the same one who played Marlene in the games. Right. Which is like, and even so cool.
Tess too. I was like, who is Tess? I was like, I do not remember.
I was like, am I watching Tar? Is this Kate Blanchett? Yeah. Like that's what I was thinking the entire time. But another person too, which I don't know if you were gonna get to, is Nico Parker as Sarah. So I mentioned in my review, in my quick review, I streamed it, so you can go watch on the channel right now, or actually I think maybe on our gaming channel, PFN Gaming. Check it out. We haven't posted anything, but actually, quick aside, we definitely will be again in March when we get Jedi Survivor coming out. We are definitely going to be kicking that up again. But I streamed about the first 2 to 3 hours, I think, of this game, which I said in my review. Essentially, everything I've played of the game caught me up to this episode.
The first episode.
So I was like, when I saw Sarah and them in the truck, I was like, I know all this. And then when it cuts to the present and they're, going and he's trying to trade these things, it's like this bartering system, walking in all these alleys. I almost texted you, and I was texting you during it, like with some of my thoughts, but it just looked so much like the video game. I was like, oh my god. And then that's when they're gonna push in the thing to try and get, through the sewer into that apartment hallway thing that they have that standoff in. Like I had this like sense memory of like what was about to happen next, but now that is all out the window. But like I said, Nico Parker, she was fantastic as Sarah. And I don't know if you watched the like inside the episode thing. No. It way shorter than the House of the Dragon ones are, but it was about like 2 or 3 minutes. But one of the things he said on Nico Parker as Sarah was, he was like, in essence, we want the viewer who, if someone has no experience with this franchise or what happens to Sarah or what's really going on, we want them to think that, Sarah maybe is almost the lead of the show. We needed to cast somebody that could bring that power, and we needed to write a character that felt like a full fleshed out human being who could lead this entire show until, as the showrunner said, until tragedy strikes. Right. But I really wanted to make sure that we should give a shout out to her because I thought she was fantastic as Sarah. Because that's probably one big thing they extended. If my memory serves me, was all the Sarah stuff. Because I'm pretty sure before it was just she fixes the watch, then falls asleep, then there's like a big time gap, then kind of everything happens. There's like, I don't remember anything with the neighbor or anything like that. I don't
either. Real quick, that was done amazingly. Just the
old lady?
Way they build the tension with the, she wakes up. Obviously, we hear the helicopters, and I think there's probably tanks or something going on.
Yeah.
And then we
the
we have
green
the dog,
lights.
Right. And then we have the dog like freaking out, and she tries to bring the dog back. Dog is like, nope, see ya. And I'm, bolts the complete opposite way, and she walks in and obviously sees the neighbor, and she's a zombie. But even how they built that in when she goes over there originally. And you have the old lady in the wheelchair out of focus, like doing all those like weird like things with her mouth and everything. It's just very scary. And I thought they did an excellent job with all that stuff.
I also really like the cold open, the kind of like I talked to you, like kind of if people really don't know what the show is, you know, kind of introducing it almost as a parallel to like COVID. I thought that was really cool. That like news special thing.
Yeah, that was like it was terrifying too, because it's like you used to watch those things and go, oh, that could never happen.
Yeah.
And you're watching it now, you're like, well, it kind of did just happen.
Yeah.
So it's not like we haven't been through that before. What did you think of, like, well, actually, first of all, how did the clicker on the wall look to you? I thought it looked like absolutely me. I was like, that is clearly like, that looks very real.
I thought it looked like incredible. I thought it looked, and I think, I don't know this because they didn't show it in the behind the scenes or anything, but I would think that was real, that was 100% practical.
Yes.
It looked amazing, and it really scared me when it scared her, and she kind of jumped, and Joel was like, oh. Like what are you looking at? Like, and then the camera like moves over. I was like, holy shit, because my first thing was like, I was like, oh my god, is it alive? So yeah, no, I really loved that. I thought that looked fantastic. Oh, another person too. I thought Gabriel Luna as Tommy, absolutely incredible so far. I'm really excited because really all I know of Tommy is what I played of that opening. I'm really excited to see they had a in the weeks ahead thing, which I won't even spoil for anybody who wants to really stay completely in the dark. But kind of what I'm assuming, because I haven't played the games past that, is it looks almost like maybe Tommy and Joel are not going to see eye to eye on everything, which it looks very interesting. It sounds like they have two very different philosophies of how to move forward with things. So I'll be very interested to kind of see that play out in the future, as well as we still haven't even met people like Nick Offerman, Murray Bartlett from White Lotus as Bill and Frank. So like, you know, some of these characters we haven't even been introduced to yet. But another one I want to just spend some time on Bella Ramsey. I think she was so good in this. And man, does she look the part. Like when you first see her and she's chained up to that radiator, I don't know if it's just something about like the shirt that she's wearing or how her hair is done. She looked so naturally like this is where she should be. Like she looked like she was from this show, from this post-apocalyptic time. Like she just looks so natural in the element. Just as natural and in the element as she looked in Game of Thrones. Like she's just these two big roles of hers she's been so versatile in. I thought she was fantastic in this. I don't know, how do you feel about her so far as Ellie?
Yeah, I think her kind of version of Ellie is very, very I mean, she's obviously tough in the game, but in this show she seems even more willing to kind of like, you know, she's not taking any shit, you know. Yeah. She comes at Joel with the knife, obviously, in the hallway, and even you know, Marlene too. She's talking shit. She's talking mad smack to Marlene. Yeah. Yeah, I love that scene when like the Fireflies come in and they're testing her, and she does like all those things like. Oh yeah, like count to 10 or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And she goes. Well, she says what she says. I don't know why I just stopped myself from swearing, but I'm gonna move on. What was another thing? Another great thing. I won't take credit for this because it came right from. I'm sorry. What's his name? Druckmann. Yeah, Neil Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann. It came right from him at the end where he said, you know, you get these two parallels, which obviously, you know, just from the get-go from this episode, you can realize that, you know, obviously Sarah and Ellie are going to be a huge parallel in Joel's life, which is you get this parallel of when Joel is forced to kill the old woman with, like, the wrench. And Sarah is, you know, not disgusted with her father, but disgusted at the act, and, like, sad that her dad had to do it, and, like, just all these feelings, versus the end of this episode when Ellie is watching Joel kill the soldier, he used the word activated. He was like, it's almost like within this story, that is the moment that Ellie has activated in the story. That she sees, wow, Joel is going to protect me and defend me, and I need to do the same for him. And this is going to, and it was like kind of her first taste for this is what the actual violence of the world is going to look like. And I love that you had that when just a few minutes earlier, she still had that childlike essence when she was staring out the window and she was like, so you've really been out there, huh? You know, like she kind of still has that childlike wonder about certain things and that like hardened edge. And I can't believe that Bella Ramsey pulled that off with like 25 minutes worth of screen time in this one episode. I thought she was fantastic.
Or even like you said, even when they're driving down the road, and there's those people that are like, oh, help me, and I forget which one it is. I think it's Tommy that's like, oh, let's help them, and he's like, no, just keep going. And
Tommy's like, they have a kid, and he's like, so do we. Yeah, keep going. Which is like great. Maybe if you had, stopped to help those people, then you wouldn't have been in the situation you were in. But also, I will say, at this point, full spoilers for The Last of Us. Please, if you don't want to be spoiled, mute us for the next, couple minutes here. But I guess we'll just dive right into it. Sarah's death hit me. I knew it was coming. It hit me just as hard as it did in the game. Because in the game, I knew obviously she had to have died somehow. Or been lost or something like that, or infected. But what it actually is with just the government's just like, no, just get rid of them. Just if one of them is injured, just, lose it. It's actually, tie it back real quick to one of my favorite movies that I saw last year, Greenland. With Gerard Butler, there was a similar thing in that where they were like, they only had limited amount of resources and everything to help people. So in the movie Greenland, their son has asthma, and so they're like, oh, the kid has asthma, don't let the whole family in. Like it reminded me very much of that exact thing from Greenland in that moment, but just. And the realization on Joel's face where he's like, you're not really going to do this, right? And then the guy raises his gun and just sprays bullets. Like, it is just insane to me. And then Pedro Pascal's performance is he's just holding her and just like screaming out. Just insanity. He's just such a good actor with everything that he has been in.
I'm really excited because Danielle wants to play the game. So I'm really excited because I'm probably not gonna. Whenever she plays it, I'll probably just watch her, and I probably won't replay it. But it kind of makes me want to replay it. But I'm really excited to see, all that stuff done in the game and how it varies between that and the show. Because again, like I said, I don't really remember all that much. How about that intro?
Loved it. I was like, is this House of the Dragon? I was like, what is this? This like animated, sprawling. I loved it. I agree with you 100%. I just loved it. I loved the song. Also, I'll shout out. I don't know who the composer is on this, but the score, the overall score, just throughout the episode was so good, including the intro music. Let's see here. I don't know how you. All cast and crew. I really hate IMDb. David Fleming, it looks like. That is who did the music on this. He did the music for Dune. He was one of the additional music people on Dune. So yeah, he's done a couple good stuff. Oh, and then it looks like he mainly comes from he's the composer on a lot of the David Attenborough nature specials. Oh, very interesting. That's interesting to make that jump then to just a straight up HBO drama. But the music is really, really good. I love the intro. And then the ending where you kind of get it kind of felt like The Walking Dead. Obviously there's going to be comparisons to The Walking Dead, but almost literally the last shot of the first episode of The Walking Dead when Rick is walking into Atlanta and it just pans up and you see the, you know, caved out buildings, and that's only 6 months later. This is 20 years later. You see these buildings falling down, and I didn't even notice until I watched the episode twice. I watched it once more today. I didn't even realize when you start on them and then it pans up, there's a full-fledged clicker on the roof there. I didn't even realize it. I was like, oh my god. So that'll be interesting. And those guys, I'm really not even that familiar with their abilities or whatever, so I'll be excited to kind of learn that.
I am interesting to see, because they did, so for the show, they don't have spores as a thing. Which I found interesting, but maybe it just makes it a little bit easier to get around, I guess. I saw some TikTok with the creator that was like, we had to work, because he was like, in reality, as we saw with COVID, if it was an airborne spore thing, everybody would be dead within like 6 months. Like that's just, there's just no way to have a universe or a story with an actual thing like that. Which I like, but I don't know if you probably didn't get this far in the game, but there is one kind of infected that, if I recall, he either like throws something or he like vomits it or whatever, and it releases spores, so I was kind of interested. I was like, oh, I wonder how many different variants they'll have in the show, if they're just gonna go clickers and then normal, or if they'll go a little farther with that. But
I was kind of thinking, what if it's a thing of maybe
I'll be right back real quick.
Okay. I was just thinking, maybe if rather than airborne, what if it's like not necessarily contact, but let's say like, if you guys are thinking back, like where we see the kind of dried up clicker in the sewer subway system, what if it's something that like when you step on it, this like dried out, vine or like, mushroom mycelium thing growing out of it, what if it's when you step on it? Like it's almost like if you break the like chrysalis or the system that it's in, then it can kind of release it. Like if he like stepped down on one of the branches, maybe then the spores would go up or something like that, where you have to have this extra kind of active step to get properly infected by it, aside from just being bit, I guess. I don't really know how the zombie mechanics work. Maybe Lewis Berry, if you can tell me if you know from the games. Let's just get caught up on chat here. Michelle said, really liked Last of Us. I was wondering if there will be flashbacks of Sarah. Well, I don't know how reliable this can be, because we saw with House of the Dragon, it was changing every single week. But Nico Parker is listed for 3 episodes on IMDb, so take that what you will. Maybe there will be flashbacks. It wouldn't surprise me, just because, the show, you gotta have more kind of narrative thrust than a video game. And then Lewis Berry, which, by the way, Lewis Berry, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and hit subscribe. We're going to be reviewing Last of Us, Bad Batch, Mando, everything coming out big this year. But he says, love this and can't wait for the rest. Pedro, Bella, Nico killed it. Hope to get flashbacks of how Joel met Tess. Yeah, I think that would be great too. Get flashbacks of the kind of in between times, the 20-year gap.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool.
And I think a good point too that's been brought up is the show allows for Neil Druckmann and everybody else to kind of get more into the characters than maybe they couldn't in the game, just due to, obviously, you have to have gameplay in a video game.
Yeah.
So you can't have too many, cutscenes and everything.
I thought about that first time because I heard them talk about that, where they were like, really in the video game, you're locked into always Joel or always Ellie, and that's it. So I liked the very first scene we got where it was just Tess's perspective. I was like, okay, I think that was their pitch of like, okay, we can take breaks away from these two main characters to give other perspectives, and it will work. And then we also had the scene of Marlene and her kind of lieutenants there, just their perspectives. So I thought all of that was really, really done well. I guess last thing I want to touch on with this before we move on is the real world reception to the show already. We're sitting here on Tuesday night. The show came out 2 nights ago. It is the second highest premiere for HBO Max in the last 15 years. So since Game of Thrones last 13 years, sorry. So since Game of Thrones started, that was so basically in the last 13 years, their number 1 premieres are Game of Thrones season 1, House of the Dragon season 1 is number 2, and then The Last of Us season 1 is number 3 of all time on HBO. So obviously this is a huge numerical hit already. I'm sure word of mouth will just, no pun intended, spread on this, and it'll just kind of build and build from there. So I want to ask you, just because you are more versed in this world than I am, speaking of the 20-year time gap, speaking of things like how does this start, do you think this is a situation in which we could see, The Last of Us Day 1, spin-offs or, different stories that we could tell within this universe?
Yeah, I think so. You don't get much of that in the game, if I recall. I could be wrong, but it doesn't mean that, they couldn't come up with something. I'm more interested to see how far, like how many seasons it takes to get, like you said, you played like 25 minutes of the game, you're already through episode 1.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if they can get to the second game and how they kind of work that in, or how long it takes. Sorry, I'm having like a coughing attack. I do apologize.
No, you're good. He said, I was like, what? Brandon is in the chat. Brandope. He said Jersey looks dope behind TJ. I was like, what Jersey? And then I remembered. Yeah, you got that right there. Which shout out Bills real quick.
Real quick, this jersey. I ordered it right when the storm hit, and didn't show up, and I reported it as lost. So I got my money back. It came today.
That happened to actually no, not so many people. Just my one friend had 3 different Blu-rays that he ordered, and same exact thing. They said your package was lost. You click here for the refund. Got the refund, and then it showed up. Did yours say return service requested? Because he was like, mine had a sticker on it that said return service requested, and he's like, why did I send it back to you?
Yeah, I don't know. This was like, it was like stuck. It was stuck on like out for delivery on the post office website. Yeah. And then I contacted the post office. They're like, oh, it's like it's gone. Like, we can't find it. So I got a refund from Fanatics.
That's crazy.
And then it just showed up today. So I don't know.
Boom. Hey man, sometimes you make lemons out of lemonade out of lemons. That's the saying. Yeah, so Last of Us, let us know, guys. What did you think? Did you love it as much as we did? Did you love it even more than we did? Did you think it wasn't that great? Is the video TJ, is the video game curse broken?
I think so. I think after watching this, it's important to have somebody involved with the game, involved in making whatever you're making.
Or at the very least, the storytelling of the game.
I mean, we don't know how Mario is going to be, but I'm going to guess. If I had to guess, it probably won't be that good.
Really, I feel the opposite. I feel like it could be. I feel like it could have something there. I could be wrong.
I think next, though, maybe you want to look at God of War. I think that'd be really cool. But maybe, again, get somebody involved, I would say. And give it to HBO or something. Make it a show, not a movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have a bad feeling. I feel like no matter what happens, God of War is going to end up on like Paramount Plus or like Amazon Prime or something. All right, hang on. Whoa, all right, Brandon, slow your horses there. Fanatics is watching. They're going to charge your card, probably.
I shouldn't have said that. I know. I was nervous. I was like, I shouldn't make this known that I got this for free.
No, I'm sure you're fine. He said, still making my way through before I watch, and hopefully season 1 will be done in time to binge. I'm assuming that's Attack on Titan was announced as another 2-part season.
Attack on Titan. I stopped, and I just haven't gone back. It's really good. It's not because it's not a good show. It's very good. I just haven't gotten to it.
Now,
Gears of War too. That's another show.
Am I wrong, or like wasn't Attack on Titan's last season supposed to be like last year or something. I feel like it's been the last season for like 2 years.
I believe that they were like, oh, part 1 at the end of that season, and they went, oh, part 2, and they're like, oh, here's part 3.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and then like Brandon said, like you just said, you know, Gears of War, God of War, you know, some of those things I think are easy wins for this. But I said
Metal Gear Solid.
Is that Solid Snake?
It's still in development. Yeah, it's still in development.
Okay. That took a lot of brain power. Yeah, the last thing he said on that was he was like, takes time. You have a good night. Yeah. Like I think that was
as
like
long
the
as
last
they get
thing we heard.
Kojima involved, they should be okay.
Oh yeah, and then Ghost of Tsushima with David Leitch. He wants that to be his next project. Which, well, I guess we could save that for another day because I'm sure that it will be news sooner rather than later. But what was the last thing I was gonna mention on it? I completely forgot. Oh, I said in my my separate video, I was like, I think in terms of just video game properties make good movies, I feel like that was broken with Mr. Blue Fury over there with Sonic 1 and 2. I think Sonic 2 really sealed the deal because that movie, you know, incredible. Both of those movies are. But then you also get the likes of like Detective Pikachu. I do think the Mario movie, I think all the drama and stupidness with Chris Pratt aside, I think there's a chance that it is going to be a good movie. Just because it looks like they are trying to weave story elements throughout the game, not just going like, what if Mario, you know, went to Kansas City and got tied up with the KC mob? Like, they're actually like having it be Mario versus Bowser to save Peach. Still could be an absolute train wreck, but I feel like now that proved, yes, you can make movies out of video games. This proved you can adapt the story of a video game and make it a show. You know, maybe not a movie yet. I feel like that is a stretch just because it's easy to forget about it like this, but you know, video games are absolutely long form entertainment. You know, they are long stories. But I think this one did it well. So guys, let us know, are we crazy? What did you think of episode 1 of The Last of Us? We will definitely be talking episode 2 of The Last of Us next week, so join us then. But thank you for joining us for that video. All right, let's break it down here. The title of the show, we are going to go through and talk about, now, honestly, I did carve out a lot in terms of getting rid of things. But we are going to go right now and we are going to rank in order of anticipation how much we are looking forward to it. I think this one is a short enough list. We'll crack out 2 personal ones and then kind of compare and contrast from there of what is coming out in 2023 from Star Wars. Last year, I know I was watching Star Wars Explains video on the 2023 upcoming things, and they mentioned that 2022 had almost 150 new Star Wars stories, whether that be comics, books, audio dramas, you know, TV episodes. I almost said movies, but no Star Wars movies. But that's insane. And sorry, my words are all jumbled right now. Too much coffee. 2023 is going to have even more for us. So I stripped away all the comics, but I do have knowledge of the comics, so if we want to, we can, you know, talk about those a little bit. But mainly this is going to be the 2 big video games that are coming out, 2 big kind of events that are happening with Star Wars, and 1 publishing title. So with that said, let's just go ahead and jump into it. And also, guys that are watching right now in the chat, let us know, what is your thoughts on this list? TJ, we are going to start with you here. So our categories are as follows. We have hyped, excited, and I'll skip it. So let's start off with, well, since we don't really know the order of release for some of these, let's just start off in this order. So we have right here Star Wars Jedi Survivor, follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order. Both massive fans of the game. Where are you putting this for now?
For that, I go hyped. Trailers have really done it for me, and really excited to see how they followed up. A very good game, in my opinion.
Absolutely agree. Let's go Mando. Oh, did you watch the Mandalorian trailer?
I didn't watch it, but I don't want to do a reaction right now. I'll definitely watch it after this.
Fair enough. It is fantastic. Well, based on the first trailer and some of the other things we know, where are you at for Mando season 3?
I am definitely also at hyped for that. Again, I think that and Andor are two best things for Star Wars going right now. So excited to see how they follow up season 3.
Yeah, it's exciting because, and I know Book of Boba Fett, obviously that was.
Or is this season 3? Is this season 3 that's coming out?
This is season 3. Yeah.
All right, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I guess Book of Boba Fett did, but like, it's still a character we've known, but I guess Ahsoka is too. But either way, my point is like, I'm excited to get two kind of new tastes from Star Wars this year with what is live action Rebels really going to look and feel like with Ahsoka, and then what the hell is Skeleton Crew even going to be, which we'll talk about in a second. But next up, Star Wars Hunters. So this is the game that has been supposedly releasing next month for the last 2.5 years. But this is I believe it's a Switch and PC exclusive, where it's basically a Overwatch Lite, type game for Star Wars. Some interesting characters and everything, and it kind of doesn't really fit in canon. But where are you at with this game?
I'll probably go. I'll skip it on this just because I don't really know. Like you said, if you said Overwatch kind of esque, for me, it sounds like a kind of first person shooter type game. I'm already out because I suck at them. But
yeah, that's fair enough. And also, I feel like we just don't really know a lot about it. All right, next up, even though we are 3 episodes in, very much the first big property for 2023 for Star Wars is Bad Batch Season 2. We still, even though we're 3 episodes in, we still have 14 weeks left of the show, so it is not going anywhere anytime soon this year. So where are you putting Bad Batch Season 2?
That I put excited. So far, so good, I think. And definitely, like I said earlier, more hyped than I would have been, 2-3 weeks ago.
Perfect. Oh, whoa. There we go. Next up, I'm going to throw you a quick curveball with curveball number 1 I'm going to go Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. So the last 5 years in 2017 and then 2020 and now this upcoming year. But in 2017 and 2020, for the 40th anniversaries of A New Hope and Empire, we've seen new toy lines, new Funko Pop lines, A Certain Point of View novels for each of those movies on the 40th anniversary, usually a panel at Celebration, lots of stuff for the 40th anniversaries. So without really knowing what's going to come of this, how excited are you for the potential of some new bits and bobs and stuff coming out of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi this year?
I'm going to say because I don't expect, like you said, that, we got, Funko Pops and figures and, maybe a book or two. But other than that, like, I don't think anything is really going to speak to me where I'll be, like, hyped for it. I don't think that's going to happen. Or even excited.
Oh, I guess I'll wait. I'll wait to say that on my own list. I was about to say like some of the things that I was excited for, but I'll say I agree with you. All right, next up, another Cal Kestis thing coming out the same day as the video game. We have the novel, which for those who don't know, TJ and I usually on and off. I feel like we've been very off for a little bit here. We'll check in with some of our basically highest priorities of the canon novels. Last one I read fully was, I believe it was Shadows of the Sith was the last one that came out. And then before that, definitely Master and Apprentice. So there was definitely 2 big, huge ones that I loved from last year. But really the only big one that sticks out to me so far, because honestly just a lot of the individual titles haven't been announced yet, is Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, which will take us from the events of Fallen Order up to the events of Jedi Survivor. So where are you at with that?
That I'd put too, just because I've fallen off the books. But I am interested enough in that character to maybe check the book out.
Yeah. I feel like I was thinking about this when I was listening to, I think, an episode of Force Center, and they were talking about battle scars. And I was just like, I know that you can't, because there's going to be stuff to tie directly into the games and everything like that. But, did he, where'd he go? Can you still hear me? But anyways, like I was saying, here in chat real quick, Brandon said, yes, it's divided into 4 parts. That'll be the Attack on Titan final seasons. Molly said, I'm hyped about Ahsoka. I'm sure we'll talk about that in just a second here. Michelle says, super hyped about Ahsoka and Celebration. Seems like a lot of Ahsoka love here. I don't know, Brandon, if you're still here, where are you at on Ahsoka, do you think? I'll be interested to know what you think about that. But yeah, I was getting caught up on chat for a second. But what I was saying, I think I was listening to an episode of Force Center where they were talking about battle scars, and I just had a thought. I was like, I know you can't because you have to tie everything in so closely with release windows and everything, but it's like I would have much rather gotten battle scars 2 years ago to put it like in between the 2 games rather than the first game 4 years of nothing and then a book and the sequel game on the exact same day. like give us some time to read the in between cool. But yeah, a lot of chat has been talking about Ahsoka. I see we're back up to 6 people watching us. So we're just talking about right now. TJ is telling us where he's ranking all these upcoming Star Wars projects for 2023. What is your most anticipated? We had a lot of people in chat saying Ahsoka, so let's go with that next. Rosario Dawson, Search for Ezra, Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn, Harrison Duel live action, Chopper live action, Sabine Wren live action. Tons going on with this. Where do you have it?
I'll skip it, right? Hyped, just everything you just said. Excited to see all those characters come to live action, assuming they will, especially Thrawn and Ezra. So yeah, really, really excited for that show.
Absolutely. I just realized. Sorry, I just saw. I thought I was like losing my mind, but I think this has me like flipped. Hang on, sorry. Is that right? Okay. Sorry, that just had me like super freaked out. My camera was like inverted, like it was like, so I was backwards. I was like bugging out for a second. All right, next up here, this is one I would imagine you are pretty excited for. I put on here a death, and that is the death of the exclusivity between EA and Star Wars. That is expiring, I believe, in February of 2023. Where are you putting this? Just for the potential of new franchise potential for games and more. Excited? Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. All right. Next up here, we'll go Young Jedi Adventures. So this is a show mainly geared towards younger kids. I would say it's probably in the you know what? I just realized I forgot something on here, but we'll just do it manually, I guess. Mainly geared towards younger kids. Think like, the Forces of Destiny shorts and stuff like that. But the one thing that I think it really has going for it is Young Jedi Adventures is actually our very first look on screen at the High Republic era. So this is going to be set 200 years before Phantom Menace, 150 or so years before the Acolyte, which isn't on this list because for all available information says that show is most likely going to be 2024. So where are you at with Young Jedi Adventures? A little look at 600 and something year old Yoda, little fuzzy bear Jedi guy. What do you think?
I'll probably skip that one.
Fair enough. That is fair enough. I think the only reason, well, again, I'll get into my reasons when I do my list. But let's go Star Wars Celebration next, which, if you can believe it, even though I feel like we just had Celebration, this is literally in 2.5 months, April. And it is back in Europe. It's in London this year. I mean, it's Star Wars Celebration. I don't have to preface you on that. We're going to get a cavalcade of announcements. Some might not happen, some might. Trailers, updates, all that kind of stuff. Most likely Acolyte trailer, I would assume, or Acolyte teaser. I don't know. Where are you at with Star Wars Celebration 2023?
I'd say I'm excited, not hyped, because I'm pessimistic on any announcements.
Oh, that's a good word.
Trailers.
That's a good word. That's a really good word for it. Last one up here, before the one that I will, see if I can add in, but I don't know if it'll let me. Skeleton Crew. So this is the one. All we really know about it right now is that it is written and showrun by John Watts, who obviously did the the most recent Spider-Man trilogy for Marvel, as well as a bunch of other things, and that it stars Jude Law, and it's set within the Mandalorian timeline. That is literally all we know about this, and yet it is coming out this year. Where are you at with this?
I'd say excited. I think it's a really interesting kind of story, kind of Goonies-esque.
They said like an Amblin or like Stranger Things in space. I love that pitch. Yeah, that's perfect.
Very good job with the Spider-Man trilogy, and I'm excited to see what he does for Star Wars. And Jude Law. Let's see Jude Law in Star Wars.
I saw this might change your thing. I don't know, probably not. But I saw this great theory that they were like, what if Jude Law is playing Lor San Tekka, like Max von Sydow's character from Force Awakens? That would be pretty cool. That timeline would line up and everything. That could be very cool. And then the last one, can't believe I forgot. I don't actually think I forgot. I think maybe the file, because this is one I actually had to make this one. This one didn't exist before. So that was why I was running a little bit late before the show, because I had to make this from scratch. Visions. Star Wars Visions is we are going to be getting a full season 2 of that in May, right around the time of Celebration. Where would you put Visions if I had the picture on here?
I'd probably put I
think that's fair.
The first one. Whatever the samurai, like whatever that one, whichever episode that one was, that was awesome.
The Ronin, or it's called the Duel, but about the Ronin. Yeah.
Like the one after that, I didn't really connect with, and I kind of never went past that.
I would say, like I said earlier in the show, I couldn't sleep a couple nights ago, so I went and I watched a couple of Visions. The Elder, that's the one with the. So it sounds like you didn't get to that one, but that's a later one that I would definitely recommend going back for. The main Jedi in is voiced by David Harbour, who is doing a very non-David Harbour performance. It's like if David Harbour played Qui-Gon with the same like cadence that Liam Neeson has. Like at first I was like, is that David Harbour? Like he's speaking so slow and methodically, which is not what he normally talks like in almost anything. But he was incredible in that. And then also, I'll only go as far as to say it is about a very elderly man who they suspect may be a Sith Lord or a member of the Sith Order. And then chaos ensues to protect a small town. So I really like that one. But let's go ahead and save this as TJ's. Download this here, reset, and let's go give mine. All right. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Let's see if I can I add this in, like, on the run? Oh, look at that. I did it. Famous last words. It's a little behind the scenes of Tier Maker. It's a very fun and easy website. Okay, well, don't know what I did there, but we're just gonna move on with Visions in there now. Okay, so I will go. Why don't you take a look? You throw me in order, because I don't want to go in the same order, because then I feel like I'll fall into subconsciously copying your placements. So throw them out for me. What do you want me to do first?
Let's see. Let's do Ahsoka first.
I gotta go hyped. I mean, the Twitter's still going strong. Is Ezra Bridger home yet? I think we're at day 3,999. It feels like this guy flew off with the space whales so many years ago, because it was so many years ago. I think it's been almost 6 or 7 years since Rebels ended, which is insane. Super hyped for that. Honestly, might be the most hyped thing on this list, but we'll see. What do you want next?
Let's go. Let's go Mando season 3.
Oof. All right, definitely gotta go hyped. That new trailer, I know you haven't watched it yet. Grogu is kicking ass and taking names, man. It looks fantastic. You said you're gonna watch the trailer right after this, so I'll just say we get some shots of Coruscant, both the city of Coruscant and some other familiar places in Coruscant, which that's all I'll say. Very excited to see how that plays into it. Very excited to see. Honestly, kind of weird thing. I really want to see what's going on with Dr. Pershing. They seem to be pushing him a lot in the marketing for this season. He's one of the people that you see on Coruscant. So I'll be interested to know how he ties into that. Are we really going to go deeper with this cloning stuff that we really haven't visited since
that we
season
thought
2?
Was going to be a huge thing and haven't really heard anything since.
That's the thing, is that I'm always like, oh, we really thought that, like, right around the corner we were going to be like Snoke's in one of those tanks. But then I remember it's only because it's been like 2 years since Mando season 2. It's been such a long time. And then we kind of had the false start of those 2 Boba Fett episodes. I feel like this is Mando season 4, but it's just season 3. So I'll definitely put it up there. Top hype. All right.
Let's go the novel that you said.
Oh, Battle Scars? I will go excited for sure, because this is one that I will definitely use an Audible credit for. I will definitely get. Just because, like I said, with a lot of the publishing stuff, I have not fully gotten onto the full High Republic hype train. I feel like it's going to be something I'll catch up on the phases once it's all complete. That being said, though, even though I have read or listened to, I think, 6 books in the High Republic, but there's just so much more. So I don't have High Republic very high, so probably my number 1 book for this year is going to be Battle Scars, unless some Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon adventure thing that hasn't been announced yet comes out. That'll always usually top it for me, but really excited for Battle Scars, just to spend more time with that crew, I just love the Star Wars audiobooks, so I'll put that in excited.
Star Wars Celebration.
Star Wars Celebration, I'm going excited because there has been a rumor that I think it was from the man himself, Jeff Snyder, that Star Wars is finally going to be doing the full Feige treatment of doing a big presentation, laying out the future with stuff that is concretely going to happen. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes talk right now that the Damon Lindelof movies are like, they're like going, like they are on their way to like roll cameras like soon. And if that's the case, and they really do have a firm plan for a trilogy, which I know it is Boy Who Cried Wolf. I agree with you on your list. I've been burned before by many a celebration. And honestly, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm putting it at only because if they keep doing that bullshit of not streaming the panels, that really killed it for me last year. Not only was it the lack of information, which, you know, last year was a good year for trailers, but in terms of actual info, almost nothing. And we couldn't even see any of it, so I'll put it in because if they do that again, I'll be really disappointed. All right.
The breakup between EA and Disney.
I'll go excited. Because I just think, you know, choice can only be a good thing. You know, I think as good as we've both loved, you know I really loved Battlefront 2, the campaign on that. We really loved all the game modes in Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, but obviously they were not perfect games, especially at launch. And how much we love Jedi Fallen Order, all three of which came from EA. It's more just the quantity of it. You know what I mean? It's like, just because their exclusivity is ending doesn't mean that the EA games are going away. It just means that we can get even more on top of it. So I am excited to see kind of where that goes.
Young Jedi Adventures.
Young Jedi Adventures, I'm going to go I'm not going to go I'll skip it, because I'm definitely going to check it out, because I do like the Galaxy of Adventures shorts that I think they're all on YouTube, or they're definitely all on Disney Plus or something. But I enjoyed those enough. I mean, they're Star Wars for kids, but, you know, it's still, for me, I like the Galaxy of Adventures because it's visiting people like Hera and Rex and Han and Leia and Luke, and Padme and Ahsoka, all these people that we know, just for younger viewers. But it's still cool to see, you know, these adventures of these characters that we love. Whereas Young Jedi Adventures, it's not going to be any characters we know besides Yoda. I just want to, what does this taste of the High Republic look like? You know what I mean? And if I tune into the show and it's really not about that, and they're not spending time, you know, like kind of living in the era, like if it's just a bunch of Jedis on like a ship or something, I'll be like, okay, I can kind of get this anywhere, and then I might, you know, move it down to skip it. But if it's going to be something that's going to let us really, you know, dig our teeth for the first time into the High Republic on screen, I'll put it in what do you think next?
Jedi Survivor.
I gotta go hyped on that one. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go hyped. I'll put it there. Really, really excited for this. I just hope that it can be, for me, as good as the first game. Hopefully better than the first game. But if I can just get as good, I will be a happy camper.
Bad Batch Season 2.
Bad Batch Season 2. I'm going excited. I'll put that right at the top of excited, just because, like you, I probably is too harsh for me. I would probably put it at the end of excited, before the first 3 episodes. After the first 3 episodes, I think it shows the promise is still there. It's gonna land. It's gonna stick the landing. It's gonna be a great show. They're gonna explore these deep, meaningful themes in Star Wars. And I'm excited to see more of it.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, I will go excited. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the show is actually about. But I am definitely excited for it. Just off that one picture, that's all we have for it. But I will definitely go excited for that.
40th anniversary?
I'll go excited. I'll go excited for that, only because of I really love the Certain Point of View novels. I think it's given us some of our best kind of tiny morsels of Star Wars in the past few years, with, you know, some things that to me are just like iconic Star Wars stories now, like Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon right after Luke leaves to go find you know, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru dead. Like some of these stories, these side stories that we didn't get to see during the movie, I think really help flesh it out and are really interesting. So yeah, I'll go excited for that. Just for that reason alone.
What is that again?
Hunters. Oh, but don't forget, we got Hunters. This one too.
Oh. Yeah.
Hunters, I'll skip it. Just because, whereas I can stomach a show that's meant for younger audiences, I mean, it basically just looks like a glorified mobile game, with, you know, I don't really know. They're releasing a young adult novel, and I believe a young reader's comic run about Hunters as well. So, I mean, if it becomes something more, maybe I'll check it out, but probably not. And then, like you said, last up, Visions. Visions, I'm gonna put in excited. There's a lot I'm excited about this year, and Visions is one of them, particularly because, as I said, in the past couple of weeks when I haven't been able to sleep, and I'm like, I just want to watch a short thing that's not a 45-minute episode of television to try and get me, more tired, I've been going to Visions. That's just randomly, in the past few weeks, has just been where my remote finds itself, is I'm just like, I'll watch Tatooine Rhapsody, or I'll watch, The Elder or something like that, because they're just 14 18-minute short episodes, and I enjoyed the first season, and season 2 is gonna be kind of upping the ante with branching out to not just Japanese animation studios. It's gonna be from all across the entire world, including a US animation company, so it won't even just be anime this time around. It'll be kind of everyone's take on their particular vision of Star Wars. So that is my list there. But guys, let us know, what is your list? What are you most anticipating for the year of 2023 for Star Wars? You see all of the main things there. Also, tons of comics, tons of High Republic publishing novels, young adult novels, everything like that we didn't include just because we would be here forever. If you don't believe me, go check out the Wikipedia page for 2023. It is like 10 pages long. But yeah, guys, let us know, what are you most looking forward to in 2023 of Star Wars? What did you think of The Last of Us premiere? What did you think of the first 3 episodes of The Bad Batch? Let us know all that and more down below. But guys, that will do it, at least for me. I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Thank you guys again for joining us on this episode of PFN Live. I believe it's episode 102. Like I said, that will do it for me. TJ, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I've been your other host, TJ Cornwall. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you thought about any of the topics in the comments below. Check out some of the reviews on our channel. Follow us on all our social medias, and we will see you next time.
Boom.